than you were before.
Murray got hit, and Murray's down and hurt. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Jamal Murray is in massive pain.
Can you describe to me what this championship journey has been like?
Every NBA season builds towards that one moment, that glimmering snapshot where a year of competition finally reveals a champion, and the cinematic celebration begins. Everyone knows the imagery by now. Champagne bottles popping off like fire hydrants, grown men jumping up and down like little kids, questionably sober post-game interviews. It's one decadent summer dedicated to the summit, and then the next season, something shifts. Possibility is replaced by reality. Potential collapses into the present, and our perception of those newly crowned champions goes from hopeful and perspective to calculating and analytical. In our eyes, we know them now. We just watched them give everything they have on the game's biggest stage. We saw their strengths and weaknesses on full display, and that means it's time to start categorizing them. In Denver, a hierarchy felt clear. Jokić claimed his title as the best player in the world. Aaron Gordon completed his inspiring reinvention, and Jamal Murray became something else, a sidekick. The lethal second option who played off his team's engine, a closer, a playoff warrior, a local hero even. He was a champion, and no one could ever take that away from him. But for better and for worse, the book was out on him. The discourse was quietly building a ceiling over Jamal Murray's future, and if he didn't do something about it soon, he'd have to spend the rest of his career in the shadow of limitations. It isn't easy to start climbing right after reaching the mountaintop. If Jamal Murray had started the 2024 season off on the wrong foot, he would have been given a short grace period. After all, he was one half of the game's best two-man game, fresh off of a well-earned summer vacation. An early shooting slump or some lackluster defensive efforts during the regular season slog wouldn't have been the most shocking thing we've ever seen. But Murray did something else, something historically unusual for a player whose ring is still shining. He didn't regress or make a leap. He stayed mostly the same. The regular season looked like a test run for him, an 82-game warm-up before he inevitably flipped a switch in the playoffs.
Flip. Murray, back out to Murray, his three-pointer, throws it down, and the foul. Murray saves, and one point, got it. Just masterful. Murray was circuit shot. They will count it. It's good. Jamal Murray.
For now though, he was still just Jamal Murray, the iron club that Nikola Jokić beat NBA teams to a pulp with. But there was still another route open, an alternate way to change our perception and shake off that sidekick label before it stuck. And it started with sealing a repeat. If Murray was the big shot artist for another title run, the specifics didn't even matter. Even if he wasn't an engine, being an integral part of a repeat is enough to vault anyone into a lofty tier of legends. And with the way Denver was playing, that didn't sound far-fetched. Eventually, the Nuggets found themselves back in the playoffs as the second seed in the West, and their first round matchup was against none other than LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and the Los Angeles Lakers, the same team that Denver announced their national arrival against last season. The basketball world was gearing up for an episodic clash between two rosters full of all-time greats. Unfortunately though, Jokić hates being at work any longer than he absolutely has to be. The Nuggets casually picked them apart with a detached irreverence in all four of the wins. Well, two of the four wins. The other two actually came down to the wire, but they never felt like it, because both times when the lights were the brightest, Denver turned to the best action in basketball, the Jokić-Murray two-man game. In game 2, they were down 6 with 4 minutes to go, so they slowed the game down, never gave the Lakers an extra possession, and let their two masterminds go to work. First, the Balkan Bruiser went to work in the post. Then with the game tied and a minute to go, the Nuggets put the ball in the hands of the roaming Archer on the perimeter.
Makes a move. Denver. The Nuggets have won!
That was it. Murray scored the last 6 points, including a fadeaway buzzer beater over Anthony Davis to win it. 3 games later, he dropped 12 in the 4th, including another game winner. 2 nail biters, where the Nuggets got the last possession, didn't call a timeout, got Reggie Miller to say the exact same thing on the broadcast, and then ended the game thanks to the same man. Maybe they were just inevitable. Jokić, Murray, Jokić, and Murray, Jokić, or Murray. It didn't matter. Maybe it was as simple as if these two are on the court, you can't beat them, and that's enough for both of them to be called great. Next series, they were up against some young upstarts from Minnesota, and it was like you could already hear the headlines. Jokić triple-double downs Wolves. Murray silences Minnesota's comeback. Jokić scores 40 points without missing a shot, and then yawns loudly afterwards. They were a great duo, ascending in real time, and that meant everyone else was a plot device. The only real question was whether the series would go 4 or 5 games. Turns out, we didn't really know anything, because that group of reckless young kids we glossed over, yeah, they punched the defending champs in the mouth in their own house, twice. In the blink of an eye, they were down 0-2, and Murray couldn't get anything going. Things were looking dicey, legitimately worrying for the first time in a while, and then he found his rhythm again. 3 strong playoff performances in a row, and by game 6, Denver was 1 game away from moving on. That was it, the natural conclusion for the script. Jamal Murray's bullseye, the moment he ends the series in Minnesota, or at least seals it back home in game 7. All of us were waiting on it, but this time, it never showed up. In game 6, the Wolves smothered him, and in game 7, he went cold down the stretch of what looked like a vintage performance. Denver lost the series. Anthony Edwards won the backcourt battle, and all that positive momentum came to an abrupt stop. They weren't unbeatable after all. There were no Mike Malone quotes at the parade, and no videos of Jokić dancing in Serbia. Instead, there were ominous questions to fill the silence. Worries about the bench, the defense, even the coach. But there was one anxiety that seemed a little more potent. What if we were overrating Jamal Murray? Next year, Murray needed to make a statement. That might sound unfair for a player who had been an instrumental part of a title team only 2 years ago, and honestly, it probably is. But in this business, reality is unforgiving. What have you done for me lately is the guiding doctrine of all roster construction, and recently, the cold-blooded Canadian was on shaky ground. That last defeat was an unexpected playoff loss to a younger team, and things like that can spiral quickly. A couple disappointing years, and angsty owners start thinking of reckless ways to gerrymander championship windows open, including breaking up beloved duos. Thankfully, there was still time. Denver didn't need a miracle or a reinvention, just a step forward, an all-star appearance next to Jokić, or another postseason metamorphosis into the assassin he used to be. Anything to make 2023 feel like it wasn't that long ago. But at the end of the year, that team still felt like a distant memory. Murray looked run down in the first month of the season, and even when he rebounded, he didn't evolve. Denver kept struggling. Jokić went to All-Star Weekend alone, and at the end of the season, Mike Malone and Calvin Booth were fired in the dramatic end to a cold war in the front office. No one outside of number 15 was safe from being scapegoated. A string of poor performances from any supporting player in the playoffs could easily have led them to being traded by the new decision makers, and everyone knew it. This postseason didn't feel enchanted or inevitable. It felt critical and stressful. Round 1 was a wall-to-wall war with the Clippers that went a full 7 games. Nikola Jokić was brilliant. Aaron Gordon had some marquee performances, and Jamal Murray did what he needed for the Nuggets to be a good LA team. It was exciting, a nice reminder that this core won the whole thing for a reason, but everyone knew the real test was still waiting up ahead, down in Oklahoma City.
I watched the Bulls, historic team, or I remember Golden State just a few years ago, and I watched OKC last night, and I just sat there on my couch and said, this is better. This is better than any of that.
The Thunder weren't like the Clippers. They weren't an aging group of stars who would run out of gas in a 7-game series. They were a young group of defense-first outlaws, the exact archetype that gave Denver problems in the last postseason, with a better roster. This time, Murray didn't seem stunned by the physicality. He battled back against the endless rotation of elite perimeter defenders with everything he had, and on some nights, he landed some punches in key moments, but it wasn't enough. OKC wore him down over 7 games, and in the final do-or-die contest, Murray couldn't keep up. No one on the Nuggets could. They got run out of the gym by a team with the right personnel to take away everyone other than Jokić, including their closer. First Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels proved it, then Cason Wallace and Lou Dort reiterated the same truth. No one could stop Jokić, but a handful of teams could stop Murray, and that meant the vaunted two-man game wasn't a generational force. It was a good but uneven pairing, a once-in-a-lifetime center elevating a guard with the right skills. Any team with Jokić was a contender, but the future was the most uncertain it had been in years, and something needed to change. That offseason, the Nuggets were in the news a lot. New GM Ben Tenzer stayed busy on the phones all summer long, making key trades and signing enough bench players for David Adelman to actually have the option to rest his starters every once in a while. There was some hope back in the Mile High City, a belief that this newly crafted team had enough firepower to overcome the shortcomings we all knew. All Murray had to do was coast through this regular season, hit big shots in big moments down the stretch of the playoffs, and Denver might be able to pull it off. Thankfully, they wouldn't have to wait long to put their blueprints to the test against one of those rugged defensive squads that sent them home. In the 3rd game of the season, the Nuggets played the Timberwolves, and what was supposed to be a showcase for the new and improved roster became something else, a platform for Jamal Murray to speak up and silence some loud talking points. He had 43 points on elite shooting from the field, and the same Minnesota team that figured him out 2 years ago had no answers. Before anyone could even wonder if this was an early season illusion, Murray kept the hot streak going. His first step looked 6 years younger, his touch around the rim was special, and his jump shot was more accurate than ever before. He wasn't dangerous anymore, he was undeniably lethal. For the first 4 months of the season, he quietly started rewriting the scouting report on Jamal Murray. Nothing about him looked limited, and clearly he wasn't stagnating. This player, the one we were all watching right before the calendar turned to 2026. He was a verifiable star. When the new year came, Jokić went down with an injury, a historically unprecedented event for this Nuggets core, and Murray didn't miss a beat. He kept scoring with a new level of efficiency and stepped up as the primary playmaker, dishing out assists at a volume we had never seen from him before. By now, it was clear they don't just have one star in Denver, they have 2.